Hey guys, welcome back. What we're going to do today, we're going to take a look at taking all that we've learned about solving equations, and we're going to now solve two-step equations. What we did in the last 4 lessons was we just did one step to solve an equation. Only one operation was happening to our variable, so we undid it to get our answer. So what we're going to look at today is two-step equations, meaning I'm going to have to undo 2 different operations to get to my answer. So again, I'll just remind you of our rules. Whenever we're solving equations, the 2 important things we need to remember is to keep it balanced. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. That's true of both operations that I'm undoing. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. And then we want to isolate the variable, because once we have the variable by itself, we know what it's equal to. So if you'll recall, when we were solving equations, basically what we're doing is we were undoing an operation by using the inverse operation. So what we need to remember when we're doing multi-step equations that we're solving is we need to undo them, but we have to undo them in a certain order. If you'll recall, we did order of operations in another lesson. When we're doing operations, when we're actually calculating things, because we know all the numbers, we have a certain way we do that. We start with the parentheses, then the exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. So there's a certain order to it. Well, since we're undoing it, what we need to undo it in the inverse order of operations. Meaning I'm going to take it, I'm going to flip it upside down. So the first thing I want to undo when I'm trying to solve an equation is addition or subtraction. Then multiplication or division, then exponents and parentheses. So there's a certain order in which we want to undo it. So just keep in mind, it's kind of backwards of the way that we would do it because we're undoing it. So let's take a look at a few examples. So if we take a look here, you'll notice I have 6 times x minus 16. So I have 2 operations happening to my variable. I'm multiplying and I'm subtracting. Now, following our inverse order of operations, that tells me the first thing I need to undo is addition or subtraction. So I have a subtraction sign here. I'm going to undo that using its inverse operation, which is addition. So I can get rid of this by adding 16 in. Now, keeping it balanced means I also have to add 16 over to this side. So what happens, basically my 16s go away. I'm left with 6x on this side. I've not yet isolated the variable. This is why it's a two-step problem. 8 plus 16 gives me 24. Now I have the one-step equations you're used to seeing. I'm multiplying 6 times x, so I need to undo that using the inverse operation, which here would be division. So if I divide this side by 6, I'm left with x. If I divide this side by 6, we find that x is equal to 4. And these are the ones where I strongly encourage that you go back and you check your answers by plugging your number into your original one, because two-step equations can get a little trickier. So go ahead and put your 4 back in. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 minus 16 gives me 8. My answer checks out. All right, over here, take a look at this one. You'll notice my variable is being divided by 9, and I'm also subtracting 3. So again, remember, we're undoing, and we're undoing in the opposite order. So the first thing I need to undo is my subtraction, not my division. So I'm going to undo my subtraction using its inverse operation, which is addition. Since I added 3 to this side, I need to add 3 to the other side because my balance sign is my equal. My equal sign is my balance, that's backwards. So those go away. I'm left with x divided by 9. 1 plus 3 is 4. So x divided by 9 equals 4. And always write out your steps, because if you try to do too much in your head, that's generally where you start to get confused. Now I need to undo my division. We undo division using multiplication. If I multiply this side by 9, I need to multiply the other side by 9 as well. 9 times 4 is 36. I'm only left with x on this side, so x is equal to 36. And again, we can go back, we can check it. Plug your 36 in here, and then we follow the proper order of operations. So I would divide first. 36 divided by 9 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1, so my answer checks out. Back over here for number 3. Here I have a negative 7 times x minus 12. So again, remember, undoing in our opposite order. So the first thing I want to undo is my subtraction using its inverse, which is addition. So I'm left with negative 7x on this side. 16 plus 12 gives me 28 on this side. Again, now we've kept it balanced, so this is still a true statement. Now I want to get x by itself. I'm multiplying, so I'm going to use the inverse operation to get that by itself. So now I'm going to divide. Since I've divided this side by -7, pay attention to your signs. You need to divide by the exact same thing to get rid of it. I'm left with an x. 27 divided by -7 gives me a -4. And again, we can go back, we can plug it in to test and make sure that we're right. -4 times -7 is going to give me a positive 28. 28 minus 12 gives me 16. All right, over here again, we're dividing and we're adding. So we want to undo our addition first. I undo addition by subtracting. Since I've subtracted 9 from one side, I need to do the same to the other. Over here, I'm just left with the n divided by 3. This is canceled. 12 minus 9 gives me 3. Now I'm dividing. How am I going to undo my division? I'm going to undo that by multiplying. If I multiply this side by 3, I need to multiply the other side by 3. So now I'm just left with n on the one side. 3 times 3 gives me 9. N is equal to 9. Again, go back in, plug in, check it. Now if you look at this one down here, this looks a little more like the one-step equations that we've done before. But what you'll notice is what we're dividing by is x. We're not dividing by the number. So this is still a two-step equation. The first step is going to flip x over to the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by my variable. Because my x's cancel, then I'm left with 54 on this side is equal to 6 times x. All right, sometimes you have to do steps like that, and you can multiply by a variable. You don't always want to do that, but in this case, that's what we have to do. Now I can divide both sides by 6 to get my variable by itself. And the most common mistake I see here is trying to multiply by 54. That's not going to cancel out anything on this side, okay? Keep that in mind. So here, my 6's cancel. 54 divided by 6 gives me 9, so x is equal to 9. And again, you can go back and you can check it. Put your 9 here. 54 divided by 9 gives me 6. I must be correct. If you have any questions, I encourage you to go and rewatch this video. Try a few on your own. You can write any questions you have in the comment line, or you can email me. I'll try to get to those tomorrow at class. Have a great night. See you guys tomorrow.